Hakadosh Boker Tov Masechet Yevamot Daf Pechet Amud Aleph 88A1 says the Gemara. If you want, we're going to start again from the top where it says, "My ta'ama kamechayv Rabbanan." What is the reason why the rabbis came and they said that when there's no person that he's going to renounce or he's going to deny the allegations against him with one ed, what is the reason why we're going to believe them? If you're going to tell me that an ed echad is ne'eman b'isurim v'hat trei be'alma, so now usually you have two witnesses. Because even though you're going to deny it against the two witnesses, they are going to be believed. Why? Because there are two. So kapatre rabbanan, and the rabbis come in the Sefer of the Mishnah. They come and they say you're going to be patul if they said that you ate chelem. When you come and you say that you did not eat the chelem, meaning if you come and you renounce, you deny the allegations against you, even if it's going to be in front of two witnesses, you would be believed. But rather because you kept quiet. Ushtika kehoda'ah damya. And shtika is like hoda'ah, meaning when you keep quiet, it's like you admit it. If I come and say, "No, why did you do this?" and you keep quiet, what does that show me? That you admit that you did it. Yeah, you did it, and you keep quiet. Because if not, what do you say right away? No, I didn't do it. You didn't say that. You did do it. You admit to it. Ella says the Gemara, svarahi. It's a svara. He says the Mishnah is talking about, for example, a piece of meat that we have a doubt whether it's cheleb or shuman. Remember, cheleb is prohibited fats, shuman is permitted fats. And one witness comes and he says, "Badili the shumanu." So the one witness comes and he says, "I know that this is shuman." Badili means it's for sure for me. I know it. So therefore, he's going to be believed. You're allowed to eat a piece of meat. So says the Gemara, Midam. Can you compare both cases? He says, Hatam no tchazek isura. By the case of the meat, there was no isur here. I have a doubt whether this is a piece of isur or a piece of heter, right? Whether this fat is fat. What? No, not mixed. I have one piece of meat here. I don't know what it is. I have a doubt whether this is shuman or chelem. So there's no chazakah that it's isur. I don't know. Maybe it's 100% mutar. Maybe it's 100% isur. I don't know. But there's no itchazek isura. He says by here, what? Which one? It is a dorai, but there's no itchazek isura. Here though, itchazek isura deshlish. You have a married woman. One witness comes and it says, "No, I know that the husband died, but you have a chazakah the isur here. The woman is already a neshatish." Meaning, what is the status quo beforehand? You understand? That's the question. And there's not going to be something of it about less than two witnesses. So therefore, why in the world does one witness believe? If I come to you right now, yeah, Mordechai, and all of a sudden I put a piece of meat in front of you, how do you know it's kosher? Maybe it's not kosher. So Ed Echad is believed. Why? There's no chazakah that it's not kosher. You don't know, is it kosher or not kosher? So yeah, I'm going to come, I'm going to tell you what? Must speak Ed Echad. Why? I tell you it's kosher. There's no chazakah that it's isur. Fine. If you knew that this piece of meat was not kosher, and now I come and I say, "No, I koshered it," that might be something different. Because there you know that it's not kosher, and then I come and I tell you I koshered it, right? So, but there was a chazakah that it's not kosher. It might be a little bit different. Here, right? This woman is 100% a married woman. I want to come and I want to take her out of the married status. So with one witness, how are you going to be believed? You need two witnesses. So says the Gemara, "Halo damya." What's this compared to? To a piece of meat that for sure it's chelem, for sure it's primitive fats. Imagine right now, you know that this is not kosher piece of meat. David comes and he says, no, it's kosher. You know that it's not kosher. Even if he's going to come and he's going to say it's kosher, you're not going to believe it. Why? You know that it's kosher. Come on, there's nothing what to talk about. He could say that it's kosher. Yeah, 100%. He could say it's kosher, whatever you want. Nothing. So says the Gemara, can you compare both cases? Yeah, he says, Hatam, afilu, 1 second, Hatam, afilu atu b'mea lomen. He comes and he says, even if it's going to be, that it's going to be 100 people, 100 witnesses, they're not going to be believed. Hacha, but here, given the chiyatu betre, man, if 2 witnesses come, they're going to believe. So Hanami, also one witness is going to be believed. Okay? So that's what we're trying to say. That means we're saying like this: if right now you come and you know that it's prohibited, even if 100 people are going to come and they're going to tell you that it's permitted, it's still a suit because you know that it's prohibited. It doesn't help, right? Imagine right now I come and I know that something's not kosher, right? Like what you mentioned before, right? And all of a sudden, what happens is you have 100 people coming and say, no, it's kosher. It doesn't matter. You could have 1,000 people. It doesn't help, no, because you know that it's not kosher, so it doesn't help. However, though, in this case, right, if 2 witnesses came and said that she was not that the husband died, and therefore she could get remarried, does she believe? For sure, she believed. So therefore, since 2 witnesses are believed, 1 witness is also going to be believed. Meaning the Hava Tevel, just like Tevel, Hekdesh, the Kunamot. It says really this. What is Tevel? Tevel, we know, is 1 witness. The concept of the married woman is like 1 witness coming and saying that there's fruits, right? That was Chizkat Tevel. What does that mean? We know that if nothing was taken off through Motom Asrot, it's Tevel. So now it untithes produce. So now what happens? Imagine right now, right? The doctor comes and he says, they took off through Motom Asrot. So now he just took out of a Chizkat that it was Tevel. Or Hekdesh. What does that mean? To permit something that was Hekdesh and now they came and deconsecrated, right? It's Shayach to the Bet HaMikdash. Or Kunamot. There was a Kunam, there was an Isur because they made a vow, right? That they're not allowed to come and touch it, or they're not allowed to do all these things. And now all of a sudden, right? They want to come and they want to say that there's no problem. So says the Gemara, what's the case of Tevel? If the Tevel is his, there's a very famous rule in the Gemara. When you have the rights of doing something, when it's in your possibility to do something, that's why you're believed. Meaning, right now, if you come and you tell me, I took off Tumot Masor, why are you believed? Yeah, but 1 witness is believed in Isurim, but here you have a Chazakah that was Isur. So the answer is because since you have Biyadol Letaken, you have in your possession to fix the problem. You could fix the problem. So therefore, you're going to be believed. The whether we're talking about another person. By the way, from here you can learn a huge musar. Whenever you have the Adon Letaken, you're always believed because we say that you're for sure going to fix it. Right? Many times I come and I ask you, no, I can't do anything about it. What you can't do anything about it? You are the Adon Letaken. You have the possibility to fix it. You understand? So don't just say, no, I can't. I can. No. You could fix it. You understand? Yeah? So Micah Savers, what does he hold? If he's going to hold Torah min shelo al shel chavero, eno tzarich da'at ba'alim, mishum divyado letakno, right? He says, Vika Sava, tzarich da'at ba'alim, gamar, ana yadana be'edi metaken. He gufa menalal. How do you know? Which means like this. Imagine right now, right? Mordechai has some fruits. And I want to come and I want to be Torem misheli al shelo, which means I'm going to Torem from my fruits on his fruits. I'm going to do him a favor. I love him. So I'm going to do him a favor. I'm going to take from my fruits, take off so that way he doesn't have any time. So says the Gemara, according to the Mandamar that's Torem min shelo al shel chavero, that I don't need the skama of Mordechai to do that. Right? So then what happens? So then there's no problem whatsoever. Why? Because Biyadol Letaken, again, I can fix it. I can give it from Mordechai, and that's it. But if you're going to tell me that you need dat bali, which means you need Mordechai to know about it, and he has to agree, right? And now the witness comes and he says, I know, right, that it's mutukan. How do you know that? At the end of the day, how does it help? Even if I went and I fixed it, maybe Mordechai did not agree to it. And therefore, even if I did it for Mordechai, it doesn't count. Hekdesh now, the same question is Hekdesh. If you're going to tell me now that this is a Kedusha on money, Mishum Divyodol Liftoto, because you can redeem it with money. But if it's going to be Kedusha Taguf, so again, either day if it belongs to you, Mishum Divyodol Lishtulev, you could ask a Hekdesh, you could annul the Kedusha, right? You could go to the Chacham, you do a Taran Nedarim, and that's it. Ella, but if you're going to tell me that it's on somebody else, he says, I know that the master went and he asked the rabbi to annul it. He goofed him annul it. How does he know? So how are we going to believe him? Kunamot, the same thing happened with Kunamot. If you're going to tell me because Me'ilah, remember, what is Me'ilah? You're not allowed to benefit from Kodshi. That's called Me'ilah. You're not allowed to benefit from something which belongs to the Mikdash. So if you're going to tell me that there is Me'ilah with Kunamot, Uvdushat Damim Nachtalu, and therefore you have Kedushat Damim, why? You could come and you could redeem it with money. But if you're going to tell me Me'ilah is with Kunamot, V'isur be'alma u'dirafidlat, but there you have a V'isur be'alma on it. So therefore, Idi Day, if it's going to be his, because you have the opportunity to ask. We're talking about somebody else's. And you say, I know that the masters, they went and they asked the rabbi to annul the kunam. So he goofed on, how does he know? So Amar Rabbi Zera says, Rabbi Zera, you're right. Because of all these questions about one ed, that usually we should not believe it because of one ed, we're going to give now another answer. This is the final answer, by the way, so pay attention. Mitoch chomer shechmarta alea b'sofa, hekalta alea b'techila. From the fact that we gave her so many knasot at the end, so many punishments at the end, we were more lenient at the beginning. Meaning, if you remember, how do we sub Mishnah? Right? One witness comes and says that the husband died. She went and she got married. What happens afterwards? The husband comes back from the dead. No ketubah, children mamzerim. She has to divorce both husbands. She doesn't get ketubah. She doesn't get parnasa. She doesn't get the clothing. She doesn't get. We were so stringent upon her in the end that the rabbi said, you know what? We could be lenient at the beginning. Why? Because we know that a woman is going to look into it very well. Could be at the beginning, she's going to say, yeah, one it, it's it. Yeah, for sure. She's going to go get married again. But then she's going to check very well, because if she already knows children become mamzerim, she doesn't get ketubot, she has to divorce both husbands, she's going to make sure she's not fooling around, because one little mistake, she shot herself in the leg. It's not worth it. So therefore, since we were so strict on her at the end, we were more lenient on her in the beginning. So ask the Gemara, one second. Right? Maybe this is what the doctor was trying to mention before. So why don't we just not do either or? Don't be machmin on her at the end. And don't be mekel on her at the beginning. So have the halachot like normal, which means you need two witnesses. Why is it that we said, no. One witness is going to be believed. Why? Because you're going to be so lenient on her now with one witness, because at the end, if it wasn't true, achalta, as they say, right? Mama, she's done duck. Yeah? So don't be machmin, don't be mekel. So answers the Gemara, no, if not, she's going to become an aguna. Imagine right now, right? All of a sudden, the husband disappears. We don't even know where he is. Yeah? So now what's going to happen? She's going to become an aguna for the rest of her life. So because of that, what happens is aguna, that she stays stranded. She's not allowed to get married to anybody. Remember, a woman cannot take more than one husband. So therefore, if the husband disappeared and never gave her a get, for the rest of her life, right? For the rest of her life, that's it. If you remember, we said that if a woman does get married through one witness, and then afterwards the husband comes back from the dead, so therefore she has to leave both husbands. Amar Rav said, we're talking about only if she got married through one witness. But he said that if she got married to two witnesses, she doesn't leave the second husband. So right? They started laughing at him, and then he said, I don't understand. The first husband is lying. Right? What do I care now that there's two witnesses? The first husband came back. Now you're going to tell me that she doesn't have to leave the second husband? Says the Gemara, no. What are we talking about? We don't know the person which is twin that he's the first husband, which means the person comes and he said that he's the husband. We don't know him. So therefore, we don't have that shot. Imagine somebody comes back, I'm the first husband. But we don't have witnesses of this first husband. So therefore, she comes and she says, this is not the first husband. I don't know who this guy is. And he comes and he says, yeah, I'm the first husband. You understand? You read the famous story, right? Yeah? So ask the Gemara, if you don't know him, so then even with so even with one witness, why would it be? Imagine right now, one witness comes and he says the husband died. All of a sudden, after 10 years, comes this long-lost husband. The woman says, I don't know who this guy is. The guy says, I'm the husband. So now we don't know. So then even if it was one witness, why would you divorce her? Why would you take her out? So says, what are we talking about? Two witnesses came. They said, but we were here with him since he left until now. And therefore we know that for sure this is the husband. Right? But you guys don't know him, right? Because he changed. Meaning he changed his appearance. All of a sudden he looks very different. Right? The Tiva says in a pasuk, what does that mean? Yosef recognized the brothers, but they didn't. Which means when Yosef left, he was only 17, so he didn't have a beard. All of a sudden, when they saw him afterwards, he had a beard, so he looked completely different. So says the Gemara, 1 second. Therefore, the brothers didn't recognize him, but he recognized them. So ask the Gemara, says, yeah, but it's 2 against 2 then. 2 witnesses testified that the husband died, and 2 witnesses are coming and saying, no, this is the husband. So it's 2 against 2. So answers the Gemara, Pechet Amud Bet, 88b. So therefore, if this person has relations with her, he's going to be chayav. Nasham talui. Remember, nasham talui means that it's a doubt. We don't know. It's an asham. Asham is a guilt offering, but it's talui. We don't know if it's an avera or not because it's an isur safek karet of the Torah. So says the Gemara, and Sheshat says, "Kegon sheniset leechad me'edea." No, she got married to one of the witnesses. So therefore, since the husband of the second husband says that since the second husband says that for sure the first husband died, he's not chayav and shantalui because he knows that the first husband is dead. He testified. One second. So says the Gemara. Yeah, Rabbi David asked a beautiful question. He says in the Mishnah Kafei Amud Aleph, we already learned that the witness that testifies that the husband died is not allowed to get married to the woman. However, though there in the Gemara we learned that if he does get married to her, he doesn't have to leave her. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about here. Yeah, that's one answer. Another answer is that he had another wife. So if he had another wife, he is allowed to marry this woman because we're not going to suspect that he killed the husband to marry this woman. Meaning, if the guy never had a wife, so maybe we're going to suspect there was, there was a combino theory. So they went and they did something. The husband's dead, so we can get married to her. So we have version. Yeah, but here, he's already married.
So number one,
the Gemara, what happened is that says the Gemara, he goofa b'ashamtalukai. 1 second. The woman herself, she has to bring in a shamtalu. What happened right now? You just said that the one witness went and he already got married to this woman. Right? Again, you shouldn't have, whether he did it with Yavad or he already had another wife and then it was going to be with that. He got married to this woman. Now, 1 second. We said that he should bring in a shamtalu because the other Ed is coming and saying this is the husband. Right? But now 1 second. We said, no, he doesn't need a shamtalu. Why? Because he knows that the husband died, so he doesn't have to bring in a shamtalu. What about she herself? So answers the Gemara, she says, no, I know that this person is not my husband. This guy's claiming to be my husband, but I know that he's not my husband. So once she says also barili, so therefore she doesn't have to bring in a shamtalu as well. So says the Gemara, so what's the chidush on this? If she's saying that this is not the husband, the witness is saying it's not the husband, and then there's another witness that says it is the husband, who are we going to believe? The witness or the woman and the other witness? So what are we going to say? So afilu Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yossi lo kamar l'shebau edim ve'achar כך niseh. What are we talking about? The two witnesses came second, meaning the second group of witnesses came and they said that he was still alive, and then she got married. Okay, aval said that she already got married, and afterwards came the two witnesses. Lo amar, we never said that she's obligated to get divorced. The time was learned to the right, Shnaim omrim met, Shnaim omrim lo met. Two witnesses come and say that the guy died. And two witnesses come and say, what are you talking about? He didn't die. Two of them said that she was divorced. Two of them said they were divorced. How does it say she shouldn't get married? But if she did get married, lo tetzeh, she doesn't leave. Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yosef says, tetzeh, she doesn't leave. Amar Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yosef, when do I say that she has to leave? Bizman sheba'u edim, only if the witnesses came, and then afterwards she got married. But if she got married and afterwards the witnesses came, harezu lo tetzeh, she doesn't have to leave. So you see from here that here we're talking about also that obviously that she got married before. If she got married before, then she doesn't have to leave. But if she got married afterwards, then she would have to leave her husband. So you see from here, why does Rav then has to retract on what he said beforehand? So he says, when did Rav come and say also the same thing that she doesn't have to leave the second husband? He said if the witnesses came and then she got married. Because he said that even in such a case, there's no difference. Also, she does not have to leave the husband. The second husband, and some people say also, Tama, the reasoning is that he said that she got married and then afterwards witnesses came. But afterwards, and then afterwards she got married, Tetzeh, who's that going? Like Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yosef. Okay, Nekuda. Okay, let's continue. Mati Rava comes and he asks the following question. How do we know now that if right now the Kohen did not want to come and to separate himself from Tumat Met or from women which are Psutim, how do we know that we have to actually give him makot? So imagine you have a Kohen, he wants to give him to a Krusha, right? To a Goya. So how do you give him makot? Give him lashes. Says the Gemara, when it says V'kidashto, you have to sanctify him, and it's even against his will, you have to sanctify him. You give him makot, give him lashes till he wants. What's the case? So Rabbi is going to explain the question now. If you're going to tell me now that what are we talking about now? If you're talking about a case where one of these, the two witnesses that they testified, right? She went and she got married to a Kohen. And she did not say bari. So no, obviously you're gonna come and you're gonna hit it. Right? Why? Because since both of them are not sure, right, in the Eduta Achrona that it's checked or not, right? It's only a safek, and therefore you're obviously obligated to separate them. Elala. Then he said, she did get married to one of the witnesses. And she's saying, buddy, that the husband died as well. The Katanya, he still said, no, that we're going to hit them. So we're going to now come and hit the second husband, which is the Kohen, to get out of him. So therefore, obviously, what are we talking about? That we do take her out. So answers the Gemara, no. Isul Keuna is different. Isul Keuna Shah. It's different, Isul Keuna. That's what first said. If you need to answer, what does it mean, Dapeno? Dapeno does not mean to hit him with lashes. It means hit him with witnesses, which means that we're going to look for more witnesses until we actually find out whether this Bemet is the husband or not. If you can answer, said, first of all, the witnesses came and then she got married. And it's something Rabbi said, according to him, then you do get her out. Ravashi says, my lotetze, what does it mean lotetze? When Rav said that she doesn't leave the second husband. Lotetze metera rishon. She doesn't go from the first eter, which means she still is able to go back to the first original husband. She does leave the second husband, but she doesn't have to, but she doesn't go back, but she's allowed to go back to the original. So says the Gemara, one second, Rabbi already said this. Titznam, as we said in the Mishnah, he said Shalom B'Shuta, she got married, right? Let's say with through two witnesses. She goes back to the original husband. So therefore, why does he say it again? So says the Gemara, you're right. One of the two were actually said, right? But in Amura said this the other one. But you're right, you don't have to say it again. But that's what we use, we just learned one from the other. But Bemet, she's allowed to go back to the original husband. 1 second. So says the Gemara, Amar Shmuel says, yeah. So he says, Ella Shalom Machashato. We're talking about that she doesn't deny that this is the first husband. Aval Machashato, but if she does deny that this is the first husband, Lotet says she doesn't leave from the second husband. Meaning, if she's going to say this is not the first husband, so then she doesn't have to leave the second husband. But if she doesn't say it, she keeps her mouth quiet. So then we're going to say, maybe this is the first husband. So then she doesn't have to see. So B'mayas, what do we do? If you're going to tell me there were two witnesses that came and they say that this is the first husband, so even if she's going to say and deny it, what does it help? At the end of the day, there are two witnesses saying the first husband. There's one witness. So Tama, the only reason why is because she's denying it. Hashat Gab, if she kept quiet, it says she doesn't have to leave the second husband. Ula says, Kol Makom Shemina Torah Edecha, Harekan Shnaim, says Dr. John Paul, right? Or Ula, I don't know which one you want to call it in the Gemara, Dr. John Paul or Ula. He says, 1 second, anytime that you have one witness that he's believed, he's like two witnesses. So we're not going to say that the words of one person is going to be instead of two. So answers the Gemara, what are we dealing with? The psule edut. The two witnesses are actually psulim to testify because they're family members, right? Or they're women, or whatever it is. And like Nehemiah. So Nehemiah says, the Torah comes and says that you go after one witness, right? So we go after the majority of the witnesses. So they made two women, right, to do with one man, like the two men to do with one woman, which means that what happens now all of a sudden is that since there's no one ed echad, right, chashuv krum kenegat shnei din sherim, which are going against him, so two women, right, which are actually coming and batel the gamre, completely this, this testimony, right, even though, right, he's going to be kasher and they're going to be pastur. Okay, or if you want, you can answer. Anytime that you're going to come and you're going to have one ed, it's going to be kasher from the beginning. Even if you're going to have 100 women coming, it's considered like one witness. Here, what are we dealing with? There was a woman that came from the beginning and said that the husband died. So and then this woman came, she got married because of the other woman. And then came two women and said, no, the husband did not die. So therefore he's coming and said, even though we accepted the testimony of the first woman, and she's considered like two edim to permit the woman, but if afterwards came two edim to sulim, right? So then the first one is going to be patel. And therefore the first testimony is going to be nullified. Okay? That means, yes. Yeah, because here, Isha Daika Minsava, you're going to believe even a woman or even a family member. Okay, that means even if a woman comes and says that the husband died,
we don't believe the two even if they are family members.
we never have.
But if one head wants to marry her, he's even closer to the situation he wants to marry her than we
No, because at the time when we accept this testimony, we didn't want to marry. It's afterwards that she comes and he got married to her. Then we said, this can be okay. Yeah, but not the Masechta. Meaning, if he comes and he says, I want to get married to her, and I'm the head, we're not talking about that. Afterwards, he comes and he says the husband died, and now she's allowed to get married. And all of a sudden, a month later, whatever it is, we'll say, you know what? He wants to marry you. So again, we tell them no. If he already got married or whatever it is, so then it's going to be okay. Okay? The Tatzal of Nehemiah Hafi. This is the way that we're going to answer it to Nehemiah according to this. Because Nehemiah says, anytime the Torah believes one witness, we go after the majority of the deot. And what happens is we're going to make two women like one woman, like two men like one man. But two women with one man, right? We have two witnesses, which are women, and one man that's a witness. We consider them half-half. We don't consider it 2 against 1. We consider it half-half. Okay? Nekuda. 2 dots again. So she needs a get from both of the husbands. Okay? We remember, we're talking about a woman that she got married through one witness, and then the first husband came back. So now she has to get divorced from both husbands, and she has to get a get from both husbands. Says again, I understand that she needs a get from the first husband. Why? Because she's still married to the first husband. But why does she need to get from the second husband? She's not married. It was Nut. She was having a more relation with the second husband. She was never married to the second husband because as long as she was married to the first one, the second one is nothing. Ravuna says it's a gezerah. Shema Yomru Gidesh 7 Asazeh that instead says no, it's a gezerah. She needs to get from the second husband because maybe we're going to say that she got divorced from the first husband and then she got married to the second husband. So therefore, it comes out that a married woman would come out without a get. So that means we're going to think, maybe she didn't get a get from the first husband. How do you know? Maybe she got a get. You don't know. Maybe she didn't get it. So because of that, we don't want people to say that a married woman got out without a get. So therefore, we always make sure that she gets a get from both husbands. So says the Imam, if so, Seifa, depending, what about the Seifa? The Seifa says, Amrula, what happens if a witness comes and says, Mebala, the husband dies. Then he catches, she gets married. But remember, Kiddushin. Right? And then the husband comes back. She's allowed to go back. There we should also say, he said, 1 second, there was only Kiddushin. It wasn't really Nisuin yet. Meaning they only got engaged. They didn't get married. So now what happens is that we're going to say that they're also, right? We're going to say that maybe he got divorced from her. And then you got a woman, a married woman going out without a get. So they're also say that she needs a get from the second husband. So says the Gemara, you're right. Lolam by a get. Really, she does need a get from the second husband. So now he's going to be Machzir Dushato after she already got married to somebody else. And we know that you can't do that. Remember, what is Machzir Dushato? A person gets divorced. So he has a mitzvah to take her back. It's called Machzir Dushato. But if she gets married to somebody else, he's not allowed to take her back. So here, she already got engaged to somebody else. So he cannot be Machzir Dushato after she got engaged to somebody else. Remember, not regular engagement. We're talking about the engagement of the Torah, which is like marriage. So says the Gemara, yeah. So again, Machzir Dushato nitarsa. So answers the Gemara like Rabbi Yosef ben Kippur, which means that according to him, only if she comes out from the husband, from the Nisuin, I mean, she got married to somebody else, then she's not allowed to go back to the first husband. But if she was only engagement to the second husband, she's allowed to go back to the original husband. That's according to the Shita of Rabbi Yosef ben Kippur. So says the Gemara, what about the Seifa? Even though she get that the second one gives her a get, he didn't disqualify her from the Keuna. Miklal de lo by a get. So it's mashma that she doesn't need a get. Because if she didn't need a get, why does she become a consultant? Remember, if she's an almanah, she's allowed to get married to a kohen idiot. She's an almanah, a widow. She got a get. She's not allowed to get married to a kohen. She's a grusha. So here it says she's allowed to still go to get married to a kohen. Why? Because she was not disqualified through the get. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. If she needed the get, so obviously she should be disqualified from the get. And if she doesn't need the get, then I understand why not. So then the Gemara is going to explain why yes and why not, because of Hashem tonight.